Hey guys, it's Aubrey from Muttley Plans. I hope everybody is having a good day today. I wanted to come on here and do an ink comparison to this Noodlers Cayenne. So a little backstory. I got this Noodlers Cayenne from Goulet Pens as a little sample, and as you can see, I like it quite a bit. Love the color. I mean, you can't beat this just fiery orange, almost crossing into red that it is. Like, I think it's just such a beautiful ink. However, like most Noodler inks, I fall in love with the color, but it, yeah, it is a very slow dryer. So, like, I love the richness of their inks. I even love how wet their inks are, like, writing-wise, but I just cannot get behind the, how long it takes them to write, because as much as I love this Noodlers Cayenne, and I've inked it up multiple times at this point, it smudges, and I cannot stand it at all when I write something in my planner, and then I come back and somehow I have managed to smudge it, or I wrote something with it 10 minutes ago and then it still smudges. So anyway, that's a big, like, not gonna work for me situation. So I decided to be on the hunt for some matches, some dupes, if you will, for it. And I actually mentioned wanting to find a match for this, and a couple of y'all actually reached out and was like, hey, have you tried X, Y, and Z color? I've heard that it's very close. And so actually what I did is I wrote down in my little book, actually, I don't know. It may be sharing a page with something I don't want to share with y'all. So, but either way, I wrote it down in my work planner. And when I put in a sample order to Vanessa, because they are my preferred pen shop that I order ink samples from, just because of the amount of ink that they give you in their samples. It's like 5 mils, which I love because that's enough for multiple fills, so you can actually get a good fill, no pun intended, for that ink. Anyway, so when I put in that order, I took all of the ones that y'all suggested and I ordered them so that we could do this little I guess, exploration or comparison. So, first one up is Autumn Oak, and it's Diamine Autumn Oak. So, and as you can see, I did this, and it's still not dry. So, granted, I went a little thick right there. Let me just, I know this is like a sin, but I'm just gonna dab that. See, messes galore, but better that than me smudging, right? Anyway, if I was a better person here, let me just do this, because I'm worried that I'm gonna make a huge mess, and then, yeah, so here's this first one is Diamine Autumn Oak. And this is a very pretty color. I do have this inked up currently. And it is a pretty color. Like, it swatches very prettily. I even like how that swatch dries. But something I've noticed, and this is just a personal thing for me, is that I feel like I don't want to get a big bottle of this, specifically because it just writes very lightly, and I really like those rich saturated colors that like I can read easily. And I just feel like this one specifically does not match that. Because, see, that's honestly a good representation, that U right there, of how it writes coming out of a pen. At least coming out of that, I have it in a fine nib. I have it in my Natami. And I've just noticed that it's a bit lighter than what I would prefer. So, here we go. And that is the Diamine Autumn Oak. So, I really do like this color, especially how it swatches. Like I said, I don't think I'd buy a bottle specifically because it's just a bit too light for me once it dries down. But it is gorgeous. But as you can tell, it's similar, but it's not quite, not quite there. But very pretty ink. The next one I'm going to do I have any more diamines? Let me just make sure. Whoa. Nope, I don't, but I have 2 Dominant Industries next. So this next one was one that, it's Dominant Industry Earl Grey. Tea, and this was one that one of y'all actually mentioned to me. I think it was the commenter that said that they really like doing research in ink, so I was like, oh, thank you, because that's definitely not my forte. But so I got this one, and I don't have this one inked up, but you can already tell, like, the tinting in the bottle. It is definitely an orange. It's very orange heavy. And I'm not a Earl Grey tea drinker, connoisseur, anything like that. So please let me know. Does Earl Grey tea really, is it really this orange? Or did they take some, like, what is that? Not literary license. Artistic leisure with this to make it orange, or is Earl Grey tea really orange? Let me know below, because I really thought that all teas were, you know, kind of a brownish or green color, but anyway, what do I know? So this is Dominant Industry. And I've gotten a couple of samples of different Dominant Industry inks. I haven't been unhappy with them, but I just don't have, like, I didn't fall in love with any of them to where I'm like, oh, I gotta get a bottle of that. Though I will say, I think it is their Infinity Black, and it's like this black color that is, it's got a very dark purple undertone to it. I do like that one quite a bit because it's almost like the color, once it dries and when you're writing with it, it reminds me quite a bit of like an old film, you know. So if you think about you know, old movie films, old picture films, stuff like that, it kind of reminds me of that. But anyway, so that's Dominant Industry Infinity Black. We're talking about Dominant Industry Earl Grey, not to confuse you. So this is definitely like just a straight up orange. Honestly, it fits in with my one orange pen, pardon me, my one orange brush pen that I wrote Cayenne in up here. It does not, it's not even close. Like I would say Diamine Autumn Oak has more of that, the vibe, I guess you could say, that Noodlers Cayenne has. So, all right, the next one is another one that somebody suggested, and it is Pannonia Rescoros Copper. So for this one, again, somebody suggested it, and a commenter also told me a little bit, because I have another Pannonia ink sample. It's Pannonia Pure. It's a very pretty light bluish mint type situation. But they were telling me that this is actually a small company, and I love that. I love supporting the small companies when I can. So I was super excited that their name came up on something that might match this Noodlers Cayenne, because like if it matches, I'm super excited to support a small ink company. So this is Pannonia Rescoros Copper, and if any of y'all know, let me know, but is Rescoros like stand for copper in some language? I guess I need to be better about looking stuff up, I guess, but ooh, this one's pretty. I have swatched these before when I first got them, but it's been like a week, and if I don't have it inked up, then, well, I don't remember it very well. That is very pretty. It's definitely still a little too orange, it looks like. But still very pretty, and definitely matches a little bit better than this Dominant Industry one. So, Pannonia. Okay, and then Rescoros, and then Copper. So, and I'm interested to see how this dries down, because I vaguely remember, I think, when I initially did the swatch of this ink, that it dried very differently. And I did notice my other ink that's Pannonia, the sample that I have, like, it goes on very light and then it dries a much darker color. So I'm interested to see what this one looks like when it dries. All right, so now we are down to just two. The next one I'm gonna do is Dominant Industry Maple. So another Dominant Industry, and I don't think y'all brought this one to my attention. I think I saw just a swatch online and was like, ooh, we'll try that. Ooh, very pretty though. I do have this one inked up right now in my Esterbrook Esty Botanical Garden. And I like it pretty well. It's a little bit lighter, I think, than what I would want, but my Esty is also a fine nib, so that could be playing into it as well. So that's why I'm glad that these samples are 5 mils that come from Van Ness, because then I actually get to try it in multiple pens instead of just like one and done or 1.5, and I can give the ink a real good, like, I misspelled industry, give it a real good try. I can't talk, I guess, and write, but that's fine. Okay, Dominant Industry, and it is maple, and this is gorgeous. I think this is actually potentially the closest one so far. Question mark? We'll see how it dries. But that's awful close. Like, even down to the shading. Maybe this one has just a smidge more orange, but the overall color's very, very close. And then, like I said, this Pannonia, it's still drying, but you can see it's already drying a lot darker than what it went down as. One thing I notice about this Pannonia is it seems to be a little bit more watery, if that makes sense. I know it's all liquid, but it does seem a little bit more like watered down versus the Dominant Industry and even this Diamine Autumn Oak and this other Dominant Industry Earl Grey seem to just be a little bit more saturated. So interesting. This next one is another Pannonia one that one of y'all suggested, and so of course I got it. And this is Pannonia Roca Coma and Fox Friend. Okay. And this is the last one. Let's see. I love that it's like Fox Friend, because even though foxes aren't dogs, like I'm a sucker for anything that reminds me or looks like a dog, honestly. So, yeah, love it. And this looks very orange. I'm interested to see what it looks like once it has dried a little. Okay, and this is Pannonia. Oh, but look how nice this is writing. This is like an orange's orange. I feel like Pannonia Fox Friend, which is this one, and then Dominant Industry Earl Grey are like an orange's orange type ink. Okay, Roca Coma. And then Fox Friend. Ooh, but I'm liking how this one writes. Why didn't I ink this one up for the month? I have questions about my past self. Anyway, so these are our options. And I'm going to wait to pass judgment until all of these dry. But yeah, they're all very similar. So yeah, let's see what it looks like, and then we'll come back and see what they look like dry. Okay, guys, so it is dry, and I don't know about y'all, but for me, this Roca Coma, which I'm excited about, looks like it's actually going to be our winner, just because of the, I mean, it's a little bit more orange than this Noodlers, just a little, but when I look at the writing, it is pretty stinking close to this Noodlers Cayenne. So I'm super excited because, I mean, Fox Friend, it's a great name. But also it truly does look the most. I really like this Diamine Maple, but it is much too red, and this Autumn Oak is honestly giving off more of like a, I don't know what type of vibe, honestly. It's like a brownish, like orange. And so it's very pretty swatching. This one is very much too orange, so this Earl Grey tea, but the Fox Friend has a little bit more shading, it looks like, on the swatch. And it's not quite as rich in color, but writing-wise, it is almost identical. Like, when I look between the two, I honestly couldn't tell you writing-wise which one would be which. Like if I did like just a little blind test, ooh, that might be fun one day. But if I did a blind test, I feel like I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these two unless I swatched them. So that's pretty cool. Diamine Maple, super ecstatic. I do have Diamine Maple inked up currently. I just haven't written with it a whole lot. This Pannonia Rescoros Copper, Probably if it was a more saturated and rich ink and wasn't quite as watery, I feel like it would also be pretty spot on with this Noodlers Cayenne, just looking at the overall tone of it. But yeah, anyway, let me know which one of these one was your favorite color and which one do you feel like matched the best. Like, are you with me on this Rococoma? Or do you beg to differ and think that one of the other ones fit? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this ink comparison, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!